Hi everybody, welcome back as I hit my wrong buttons on my board. Greetings, welcome back to DotaPit Season 4 by G2A. Let's go directly into the game. Hi Moppax.
Hello. You're hitting bad buttons over there, are you?
Well, actually, I hit the right buttons. The board just didn't update. I'm not looking at this going, wait, I've got no levels on the soundboard. Why have I got no levels on the soundboard? This doesn't make any sense at all. So, yeah. But I've now corrected said error after looking at it going, why is this not working right? And we're into the game. We're into game number 2. And now we have to try and correct their own error. AKA, they just lost a game. They cannot be infallible, according to people.
Well, they're going to start it off a pretty solid opener, at least for themselves. It'll be the Bat Rider. And, of course, General playing very well in that game. And without the Chen, no surprise, they'll go right into the Enchantress. And at least they have the Vengeful Spirit as the counter for the Bat, right? The swaps were very well executed last game.
Yeah. It's funny to say that when the VS took so long to reach her level 2 ultimate.
Yeah.
It took such a long time. It took 3 pushes from Na'Vi on that top lane for the VS to get enough levels. Because she wasn't getting it out of the jungle. I managed to get the VS and the Witch Doctor again. I don't blame London Conspiracy. These two heroes, they were fantastic, but it's very rare we get both the supports picked up in the first 2.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes to show just how potent they are, right? Because both of them are really good counters to the Faceless Void for one thing. Now, at this point, like generally you'll see them done during the draft for kind of control, I should say, versus the Faceless Void. You'll see it done like trying to prevent that sort of a pick coming out. In this case, though, it's obviously up against the Chen creep / Enchantress creeps. It'll be this time with that bouncing cask. The swap's so good up against the Bat Rider. There's really no downside to picking these two supports. So Na'Vi, again, they're going to go with this ban up against the Gyrocopter. It is the hero that they love to go to the most for London Conspiracy. After that, it's pretty much just been like they've run a couple Beastmaster strategies as well. So I don't know if we're going to see something a little bit different come out. Or with the Witch Doctor and the Vengeful Spirit, if they don't ban out the Faceless Void here, I wouldn't mind seeing it again. Like it was a rough early game for Kefka, but he played well in the later stages.
It's possible. Goodbye, Baby Knight. No OD for you this game.
Yeah, he had he had a very rough start too. Dual lane into the mid before Biva did eventually show up to give him a hand, but it won't be available to sync up with the Chronosphere, and that might be something that might dissuade them from actually going back into that. It was one of the bigger combinations that they did have up and available, and finding a good ranged hero to do the damage during the Chrono is pretty difficult once you've already lost your Death Prophet, your Gyrocopter, and your OD. So I don't know if I would want to commit my whole lineup to that at this point. So, Na'Vi, though, without that Death Prophet, and without that Nature's Prophet, a lot of those recent things they've been going for, these timings that had been working out for so long are gone, and instead, we get the classic. That feels good. That's nice to see.
It's the Dundee Invoker. Welcome back. Sorry, I was looking over because I was checking to see the problems that were being had, and yeah, that's fine. It's all good now. Sorry, we had...
Just some issues, some slight issues.
I just tilted myself. Like I already I told you before we started tonight, man, that I'm already feeling very rough this evening, as I did not recover well from my America trip. In fact, I screwed myself up even more. But yeah.
Did you get shot or something? I heard it's pretty dangerous over there.
No, what? Because you're from Canada, where
exactly.
Where it's like everything is just like raining donuts and people on mounts on horses or something like.
Moose, no horses. Come on, that's only the police. The police get the horses.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like, it's the Mounties, right? It's the Mounties.
That's right. Yep.
That's basically all I know of Canada, and the fact that you have an illegal drug as your symbol on your flag.
Solid effort. 10 out of 10. Good stuff.
That's it, right? It's you pass it off. You pass it off as a maple leaf, but it's not really a maple leaf.
Definitely not to those folks over on the West Coast. They're all about that stuff. I tell you that much.
Don't do drugs, kids.
I'll tell you one thing that London Conspiracy definitely shouldn't do at this point. I do not think you should go for the Faceless Void up against the Invoker. Without the Vengeful Spirit, It's probably the best counter. The second best, I guess, would be the Oracle. One would consider you can like False Promise or even the Dazzle as well. Again, for Seneko would be nice. And well, they're gonna grab themselves the Nyx Assassin. So it's a classic counter to the Bat Rider. You can use that Carapace inside the Firefly, and now, geez, General's gonna have two heroes up against him the whole game.
No, I'm actually just happy to have this Assassin up against someone like an Enchantress, because that was one of those things where like you always ask yourself the question, how do you attack the Enchantress? Untouchable normally stops you, so you need to have magical damage coming out of somewhere. Like, I've seen Tinkers try and do this. Like, it's just basically being rearm Dagon, rearm Dagon, rearm Dagon, as well as a laser thrown in there for good measure. Like, that's the way you kill off the Enchantress. But if the Nyx Assassin gets off to a good start, and you can get that Dagon with the Vendetta attack to start with, and then the follow-up Dagon and the Mana Burn, you've got ways how to deal with the Enchantress, and not just the Bat Rider. Like, even the Invoker can, like, Nyx is good against all three heroes.
Yeah, no, it's a very solid counter pick here. It's kind of akin to like the Darkseer, same idea as the Invoker, where you're trying to break up his combos, trying to get that Carapace somewhere where it's going to mess him up in his nice little flow of spell after spell after spell. And the Enchantress as well, as you said, not only with the nuke damage, but the Carapace plays a pretty interesting role with her, because there's like no way you can't stop the damage if you have it off cooldown. Like, it's never going to be a miss hit or something like that. It's this massive glowing projectile, and it's the only way that she even does damage. So you might even, with how squishy she is and how much damage she does throw that out, you see it sometimes with like a blade mail as well towards the Enchantress. She can gut herself down pretty quick.
Tusker. We don't get to see this hero much anymore.
Yeah, he's like I don't know, Earth Spirit 0.8, I guess. Like, Earth Spirit just seems to be better in every way, so once he's banned out, you kind of fall back into the Tusk. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
So this
good saves.
It now means that, yeah, okay, so you get a Tusker support with an Enchantress support. So we assume Seneko Tusker, Enchantress to be taken up by Artstyle, then the Invoker, Bat Rider already for General. So we're missing a Diddy Ra hero. London Conspiracy, like, their lanes are fairly obvious now, so it's the Zeus mid for Baby Knight, the Nyx off, Witch Doctor VS, question mark where they end up, and then potential safe laner. I only say potential safe laner because, like, I'm wondering if London Conspiracy even want to battle against the Bat Rider like what happened previously. Like, they found the kills anyway, so, like, I wouldn't be against London Conspiracy just starting with the Witch Doctor, the VS on the top, and then rotating one to help out the Zeus, to help shut down Dendi.
Well, I was wondering if London Conspiracy at all are Spectre pickers. It doesn't look like they have recently, but this whole combination of Zeus Spectre as well as with the roaming Nyx Assassin could be something that they might look towards in terms of helping deal with it. But the only problem is you're up against a Tusk, an Enchantress, and a Bat Rider, all of which can apply some pretty decent early pressure. And if you're looking at Sunstrike into like a Lasso, if he ends up going for the Caustic Zord to help with the push, considering it's been the recent style lately, I would be very concerned about something like that. And they could just honestly go back right to the Juggernaut again. You see that the Lycan's banned out, but with the Voodoo Restoration as well as a possible heal ward, there's no reason why London Conspiracy can't be a little bit more active in a game that they'd have a little bit more sustained with them.
Yeah, normally you'd be a little bit apprehensive about saying Juggernaut versus an Enchantress because the army soaks up so much, but he did very well against the Enchantress army in the previous game, and you saw how the Bat Rider could function there. They actually barely respected themselves. Yeah, I'm leaning with you for the Juggernaut. At the same time, Na'Vi could also do the same kind of thing. Having the Juggernaut in their lineup would be a brilliant pickup. Great against every single hero of London Conspiracies, because none of them really have an escape mechanism against it.
Yeah, other than that, the only one I'd be looking for would maybe be a Sven, possibly something that they've been liking a lot lately for Ditchera. You can kind of do nice little setups too with the Sunstrike. It's a very long stun with the Stormhammer, so I think either of those, I agree. Like, if you go for a Juggernaut here for Na'Vi, like, what do London Conspiracy even answer back with? Then they have to go for something like the Sven. There's just not that many core heroes left, honestly, unless they're going to run like an Anti-Mage or something.
You need huge physical damage. Oh, come on, not an Anti-Mage. That's like, yeah. I prefer to see a Phantom Assassin than an Anti-Mage.
Well, we'll see. See what they want to roll the way into it. Oh, they'll grab this Slark. All right, he's been having a pretty good time lately as well.
This actually makes it a little bit more difficult for London Conspiracy to get the Jugger. Like, he's still great up against everyone apart from the Slark. Because he doesn't have the lockdown control, so if he does start the Omnislash, Slark just goes into Shadow Dance.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So,
like one of the better counters, and then trying to deal with that and the creeps at the same time, that's where things get really difficult.
yeah. Yeah, it's...
10 seconds remaining.
I'm interested to see too, like, what you feel comfortable on. Like, going up against a hero like a Slark.
5 seconds remaining.
You definitely want to have some lockdown control. I'm actually thinking more about that Anti-Mage being a really good pickup here.
Reserve time.
Because that's the one way you can kill off the Slark. If you're able to mana burn him out nice and early on, you got a Nyx Assassin to help you with that. So you wouldn't always require something like an Abyssal Blade lockdown to kill off the Slark. You got a lot of stuns up your sleeve as well. Like,
It looks like
yeah,
okay, they'll
it's
grab a Sven.
disgustingly Sven.
Yeah. That's actually going to be their first Sven of this patch too. So something obviously it's been coming up for a lot of teams lately. It's okay here. It allows a little bit of AoE control, maybe to help out your Witch Doctor ever so slightly, but it does just feel it feels more generic than it actually feels with synergy with their lineup. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really you don't see this whole like Spectre Zeus or Faceless Void Witch Doctor synergy that we've been seeing. It's more like we need a popular meta core that can hit people with physical damage.
I know. I still just it's that knee-jerk reaction again. Like it's the effect of no Tidehunter from 4 years ago. That's pretty much it. When
Well, I think
when we started going back into that world of let's stack, and Helm of the Dominator's event,
5 seconds
wonderful. What's it
remaining.
gonna do? Fun, wonderful. 4 points up in cleave as your priority ability. Yep, okay. This is we've gone full circle in meta.
and that's risky, right? Because you're up against Navi, who we've already known to put a lot of pressure in terms of vision. And if you're going to be trying to get this little stack up and going up against an Enchantress, a Tusk, even the Invoker, a Slark too, like there are plenty of heroes, and of course the Batrider. It's like his prime territory. He's fighting in this Roshan Pit and Ancients area. So if they actually plan on going for this whole strategy of stacking up, which one must assume they will with the Sven, they're going to have to keep a lot of high priority in terms of the vision up on that high ground. And you're going to need your allies there with you. Like, probably Kev is going to be, like, hanging out there with the Carapace and the Impale ready to protect Jellybean. He's going to be going for these stacks.
I'm wondering where they do stack then, because you could get away. It's a Batrider, isn't it? Because say you could get away with stacking up that close camp on the top lane, but if you do that, then the Batrider's going to steal it, or at least leech out the experience when you take it.
I feel like it's a waste of picking the hero if you're not going to stack the Ancients, so I'm sure they will, and they'll go for it, but
it's just the timing when you do stack up the Ancients. Like, you still need to get the Helm of the Dom before you really start to stack up the Ancients, because by that point, you should have your 4 points up in cleave, so stacking up the Ancients would be useful. And without the lifesteal and the extra like armor and base regen, you can't take the Ancients anyway. You don't have another hero on LC that's going to tank up the Ancients for you. Your offlaner is not that type of hero. It's
not exactly. Nyx Assassin's an interesting offlaner in that sense that he's not like your Batrider with the lasso and the pullback, and he's not your Faceless Void with a massive AoE. He has to do kind of a lot of separate things, and until he has a Blink Dagger online, he feels a lot more like a support than he does an offlaner in a lot of senses, because he can't set up this massive Ravage or big controlling factor that you expect out of your offlane player.
Yeah, the more I look at this, the more I'm favoring Navi's lineup.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that make me worry about LCs. I agree.
It's like with the timing, like that's why I'm like, so I was leaning away from this Ven as the final pick. While I understand why they do it, I feel he's going to come online a little bit too late. Because you're still looking at, like, if we do look at the timing, so you think about it, you're going to get Helm of the Dominator. You're probably going to be having to build into Drum, so you get some kind of early stat item, because you're going to get pressured early on. That's with your treads. And you normally then have to take a team fight before you can get enough money to get your Blink Dagger. And you're doing this against a lineup which is going to push you and be massively aggressive. Like, it's a Tuskar and a Slark and a Slark. Like, you're not going to get an opening just to sit in your own jungle and farm. That's not going to happen. And Dendi, if he does go for a Quas Wex build, he should be able to, like, win out against the lane against the Zeus. If he doesn't win it immediately, he's going to win it later on. And looks like he's actually going to go Exort. So you're looking at more damage.
Yeah, this is slightly worrisome.
Yeah,
I don't.
it's that moment when you just start thinking of timings more than anything else. And you're seeing the priority of the teams now. So one observer ward being planted down by Na'Vi. They both players TP to the mid tier 1 tower. So LC try and see deeper into the Na'Vi jungle. This one's meant to see the Enchantress rotations, and this one's meant to see the stacking more than anything else.
We'll see what sort of positioning they're doing down here. Like Solon's moving down here along with Baby Knight and Diva. It looks like they want to put at least a little bit of contest down here.
Well, contesting for the top room would make sense. And Baby Knight, he's going to end up in mid. Like, you look at his build, he's got 4 clarities and 2
Oh yeah, no,
two
for
shed
sure.
tangos. This is most definitely a let's spam the living crap out of this. We get high levels up in Arc Lightning, get a bottle and just like spray until the Invoker can't do anything else. The fact it's also not a cost works Invoker makes his life easier to do such a thing.
Yeah, it's just interesting that Baby Knight's like down at the bottom rune. Hopefully he'll make it up top here in time. And yeah, they'll rotate down a couple more. I'm not sure what exactly they were looking at. Maybe they were thinking there was going to be a lot of pressure on the top
The
rune.
battle begins.
And General, he's going to go in for it. Nah, nice and pale. Easy gaming.
It's not really the first ability that you want to get on the next assassin. Like you get Impel over Spike Carapace or Mana Burn when General is running the offlane, because this is the fact that Nyx Assassin also just showed himself on that top rune reveals the fact that he is now running a top lane solo. So Na'Vi have the one-on-one, the Nyx Assassin versus the Bat Rider. Then there's Baby Knight, who's already actually he is taunting Dendi with a little bit of a Mario jump. But it's the Zeus versus the Invoker. And that leaves the off-lane Sven, VS, and Witch Doctor. A very aggressive lane. A large amount of stuns that Slark doesn't really have a way to get away from. Like he's got his pounce, but he doesn't have his level 2, so there's no Dark Pact to just shrug off the stuns.
Yeah, they had to do this play. Like, all of this early game is going to be on Solon as well as Biva, just like it was the last game. Like, they did an extremely good job against General. They had great rotations in the mid lane, bringing that dual lane in with the Witch Doctor, and now they need to pressure Dayra as much as they can before level 6. Because before then, Stark, honestly, is, like, just useless. In a lot of senses. Up against a tri-lane, completely useless. He can't do a thing. He won't be able to last it. He doesn't have any sort of, like, a PA dagger or something like that, you know. There's no way he's going to get CS unless he gets this pull under the tower. And until he gets the regen of Shadow Dance, this is going to hurt him a lot.
Arstyle's already rotating. They're going to try and have some kind of influence on this bottom aggressive tri-lane of LC. But as you said, like this Slark is nothing. Like he's hit level 2 at least, and doesn't even go for the Dark Pact. He's gone for the Essence Shift as well as the Pounce. Like if you want to spell a Death Killer, that's basically it. They need to get the Troll Trap over on the Witch Doctor. Paralyzing Cask could buy a lot of space, but with the Storm Bolt, now the Paralyzing Cask follow-up. The Pounce is forward. There's no Dark Pact. In fact, now the VS has to stun up Arstyle, but the damage is already done. The Slark will spill first blood. They keep shifting out the Essence with the Shard block. You've got Warcry available now from Jalopy. So they can back out, magic missiles off cooldown in 2 seconds time. But they're just not in position for this. So first blood from Na'Vi, a good rotation from the Enchantress, and they do manage to capitalize.
Yeah, and this is the other kind of issue with this whole aggressive trial. Like, yeah, it's obviously you need to pressure the Slark and everything, but you can't be down here without vision in terms of art style. You know exactly what's going to happen. You understand the role of the Enchantress in this position. If you can't keep the wave here the entire time, then art style is going to come in for free kills, and as long as someone's holding the enemy down, yeah, Slark can, you know, just steal a bunch of stacks. He'll get his pounces out once you get a couple levels in the Dark Pact. Then he's definitely able to get some kills. But
you committed your 2 observer wars to other positions to stop the pull stack on the top lane, as well as to watch the rotation around the mid lane.
Yeah, that's interesting that they went for that vision. Now it's going to work out here, and it will help to help secure the life of Baby Knight in this situation. So at least they can be thankful of that. But I guess they'll kind of sack their tri-lane in a sense, just to save Baby Knight. And he actually is just go and hit some jungle creeps.
He's a long way away, but he can expend his mana. He's got a fresh bottle flying out to him. There's no rune to grab as well. And now, in fact, Arstyle's going to move down south. LC was a long way down. Here comes your Snowball. Witch Doctor, this time around, he's keeping his distance, and he can follow with that Paralyzing Cask. It's slowing him down, but VS, once he got pounced like that and leashed, there was just no way for him to escape. So another kill goes the way of the Slark. 2-0 now on this guy.
Well, it's not often that you see the safe lane in terms of the Radiant blocking off this camp, but that's exactly what they had to do, because as long as the wave's not here and they can't hold any sort of control over it from the Dire side, it's going to allow these free rotations in every single time from the Enchantress, and it makes Slark look like a capable hero before level 6. And so Ditcheral's getting all this free farm. He's now second on the net worth, only behind Dendy, who's had himself a completely free lane, because Baby Knight on the Zeus, typically a hero one would suspect that can generally always get CS just by using the Chain Lightning, the Arc Lightning as well as the Static Field. But with those threatening rotations of the Enchantress, and who now has a smoke as well, knowing, like Artstyle knows that obviously there was a ward mid, judging by Baby Knight's movements, so he'll make his way there, all smoked up as well, and try and secure another lane.
Okay, so for me, LC's got one big opening, which will come before the Batrider. Then again, okay. That opening is now out the window. It was the Nyx Assassin. Like, the Nyx was looking pretty good on levels as well as mana until this point, and I was waiting for him to hit level 6. TP down to bottom lane, and then initiate in on the Slark. Just before he hits level 6, there was going to be that perfect window of opportunity. And that window, just because of General's aggressiveness he just had, that window is being closed up.
Yeah, that's a good point, because now he just he can't make that rotation at all. You don't want to sacrifice going back home or something to try and make that sort of a play. It'll be way too easily telegraphed by General. Can't just sneak over and grab himself a TP, and missing out on that early rotation of this hero that you're giving so much of your farm priority to is it's a pretty massive impact on the early game, especially up against that Slark, who for one point in the game will finally be able to be killed by a Nyx and +1. Later on, it just won't be possible. Baby Knight's all the way back home as well. He's having a very rough time in the mid lane. His CS is still pretty good considering how much he's been zoned out. Oh,
Arstyle's going to slow somebody down. He's looking for an opening, and it's going to be Biver. They focus over on that Witch Doctor. One support after another. The Sunstrike from Denny is actually what gets the kill. And with the shards block up, they can go for more damage. Slark will take one. Denny takes the other. Doesn't even have to leave the mid lane to get the kill. That's now 4-0 in favor of Na'Vi.
I have to say, I've thought that the Stormhammers as well as the Cats have actually been almost perfectly placed every time by LC. Like, every time he seems to get the maximum value out of both. Sunning up everything and just trying to control it, make sure you're not going to die, but each time it's just the position that they're in. There's nothing you can do. Like, being that far out against the Enchantress is just certain death in general. Finally looks like he might go down here with that cast. Stormbolt, everything committed. He is dead.
There's finally that rotation. Except it didn't come from Kefka. He's going to go back and heal up and then go out because he's got Vendetta. He's a level 7 Nyx Assassin with Vendetta. Now Jalopy can have his safe lane farm. The aggro tri-lane did not work. And when that fails, obviously, you just have to cut your losses and try and catch up on farm. And the best way to do that is getting kills.
Yeah, now General can just come back top if he'd like, though, which I assume he probably will. He's not even going to TP. He's going to hold it because he wants his own rotation early on.
You still have to remember what happened in game number 1 with General. Like, it was an offlane against the same two supports of LC. And now you add an extra stun to the mix with his Ven. It's a danger zone for him.
He does have about 3 levels up now at this point, at least, and excellent little bit of that Sentry Ward and Observer combo down here, spawning out all this rotation here from Kefka. He knows, though, because the creep just followed him for a moment, so I have a good idea where that Sentry is.
And Diddy pounced away.
Yes, as well. But at least I'll know exactly like where it is, too.
Oh, he's back underneath it. Yeah. Diddy Ra's going to pounce again? Nope. Kefka actually ends up just attacking into the range creep. Take the farm instead. His Vendetta was going to wear her off.
And again, Dittyra now. He'll just hold on to Shadow Dance. And it looks like he still doesn't want to risk it too much.
No, General. It looked like he's about to turn around a fight. Now, there's 10 1 charges available for Jalopy. General has expended pretty much... he can't get back out with that Firefly. He has to TP himself if he's going to survive here. And that's exactly what he does. Hits the ground. Stormbolt animation was started, but it could not complete.
Kefka, again, making his way through here, keeping a general eye on this, and Dittyra dropping low, but he's okay. He's just heading his way home.
It's so easy as well for him to realize that he's being watched.
Yeah.
The second his ult, he just disappears. Like, okay, guys, like either they got an Observer Ward here, or the next assassin is in Vendetta right next to me. It's that early warning system.
Yeah, during the laning, like when you're actually around your... Oh, art style top lane. Perfect wraparound. Just another free kill on Jellaby. And that Sunstrike combo.
He's still got...
No way. They don't have swap yet, though.
One charges will give him a little bit of space, but the last attack from Arstyle, yeah, it's going to reach. That's also going to be Arstyle if he stays here. Yep, level 6 is now available. So you got Impetus on the field for this Enchantress. Start racking up even more damage.
And again, it's this big early lead here for Navi. They've drafted for it, and they are executing. But now you're going to be looking for a big snowball. Digiraw, he could go for the Blink. He could go for the Shadow Blade. I think I would like to see that as well. But first... Oh, no, that's actually for Dendi. Okay. So Dendi's grabbing himself up his Midas. And they can hit a nice little timing there in between the Midas and like +1 item there for Dendi, as well as whatever big item they want to bring out for Digiraw. Jellaby, Godstrength top lane, right on top of General. Cask falling through. Getting the Magic Missile as well. And oh, that's a little bit of deja vu, but he's been having a much better game so far.
LC was just waiting for it, really. But they've been waiting for the last 30 seconds, that's why I started checking out the other lanes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they made their move. It's just General coming up a little bit too far.
Navi's making a move down bottom as well. They've got the smoke up popped on Artsal and Denny. Is this the sneak? Oh, it's the early sneak. Oh, Artsal reveals himself.
If he actually stopped sentry warding then, like if he didn't throw down the sentry, they potentially could have killed off the rotating Nyx Assassin. I also find it interesting that Artstyle, the man with 3 points up with Untouchable, isn't the one moving to the front lines. He doesn't have a heal available. And now with the Wave of Terror, oh, Na'Vi caught with their pants down. The follow-up stun with the Thunder God's Wrath. The burst damage was just so quick. Even with that Spike, Carapace are returning a lot of the damage. The paralyzing cask, they just can't get the space. Finally, Didera is going to get himself some revenge. The shard's off target, but the snowball will still bounce through 3 players of LC. It's a 2-for-1 trade-off. And the rest of Na'Vi are scampering themselves away. Roshan's at half life. They don't have the damage to kill him off. Even with God's Strength now coming back off cooldown again. They just don't have the tankiness yet to survive that. So maybe,
there were a lot of...
it is worth it. Maybe you could do it. Like, you do have the Morbid Mask on this Ven. Is it possible for LC to finish Roshan?
With God's Strength, likely. With General being dead... It wouldn't be easy. They don't have much mana left here on the Witch Doctor in terms of Voodoo Restoration. They have the Mind Disarmament. Actually, it is maxed as much as she can right now at level 3, so half strength or half HP. Yeah, you probably could do it with God Strength. It is definitely risky though, up against. Maybe 18 seconds is long enough. I don't know. It's a tough call. Baby Knight's going to make the call right here. It looks like.
There it is.
And Shelby's not sure about this. He's like, all right, I'll do it.
Indecision. But it's well worth it because you knew Navi had this interest to take him out anyway.
There were so many complicated issues during that fight in terms of how that went down with that sentry. Like, Artsal placed it, and it's really hard to tell as to where he placed it because of this Observer Ward. It might have been in range, since it was definitely in range of the sentry. I think the Observer Ward could see this as well, although it's kind of hard to tell just by the way the fog, of course, does work. So it looks like they would have known that the sentry immediately got planted, so they would have known he went in whether or not Artsal destroyed that ward. So... just good paying attention there from the map as well from LC, obviously coming right in. The moment you see the Enchantress and you're like, okay, we're just going to all rotate. So I'm not sure why Navi's still committed. It seemed like it was fairly obvious that they had given it away.
That did seem a little odd. But they went for it and they paid the price. They still, however, do have the 2 highest net worths on the field. But that advantage which they had is the 3,000 net worth advantage is just disappearing quickly.
Yeah, and part of that big lead, too, is the Midas on top of Dendi, which obviously is great on Evoker. You need those levels. You want that gold as well, that snowball into some of those other massive Agnum Scepters and all kinds of fun items on the hero. But currently not going to be offering a lot. And the only benefit right for now is that Digiraw didn't go for one. I'm not sure if he will. We've seen some pretty late Slark Midases, even after Treads, just trying to keep the hero up because attack speed's always going to be nice with your Essence shift. So we'll see what he wants to do. Right now, he knows he's being watched. No creep able to see him, so...
He might be able to assume
Kefka won't much.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to assume there's a ward there? Kefka's looking for an easier target. I guess you'll see Denny over the side for a moment, but moves over to the Slark. Mana Burn, Baby Knight's arrived. Now, he's actually got his full ulti combo as well. But with the Shadow Dance being triggered nice and early, Digiraw just backs himself away to safety.
Just like fighting over this stack down here, just duking it out. It's just so hard.
Wins, though. Dendy had a hand of Midas. he won.
I wonder if Jellypy, he's got the helm now. I'll be interested to see how they want to play this. Like it's a lot of variants. Most people will go right for the Sanj, then go back for a Blink, and then grab the Yasha. Some people grab just the SNY. Some people go right into the Blink. In terms of the way their lineup's currently operating and how he can initiate in these fights, I would be okay with the Blink, even though he's not going to have a lot of damage. You have your Death Ward, you have your Nyx Assassin. Just rely on maybe your early spell damage instead, rather than the Sven. Especially up against the Enchantress, you don't do anything anyway. Just hope you can get some nice cleaves going, I suppose.
Does Kefka have enough with the Zeus ultimate to get a kill here?
It's with 2 points in the mana burn. No, it's pretty tanky, Batrider. He does good. He's got 46 strength. Should be okay. He's almost got his Blink Dagger as well.
It might have been a little bit more possible.
Oh, if he gets one TP though.
Well, there's your stun.
No one?
General's
No
pretty
one?
low. Here comes that
So
TP.
late.
It's originally I thought it was Baby Knight. Like Kefka was waiting for Baby Knight to TP, but his TP was on cooldown. That's why he didn't instantly come.
I thought it was going to be Solon because he had the swap up and ready, and they could have just brought him into the tower. But instead, they've got more of a focus, and this is what we talk about. Like they need his danger stack down. They need lots of people there, so I can understand the hesitation of TPing.
Now they TP'd the extra help. It's gonna be the Witch Doctor arriving to give the extra heals.
All right, well, mission accomplished. He's really close to that Blink Dagger as well. We'll see what he wants to go for. Oh, they see Dendy. He's such a juicy target right now, but with Ditchera kind of standing there as the vanguard.
I thought LC were going to screw up that last hit. The catapult was still connecting. Luckily, the VS was on the mark. Art style.
Mid lane.
Yep, Kefka gets the stun, gets the mana style, the follow-up stun, and now they can finally swing him down. That was actually that was the greatest decision ever to actually switch into the stun as opposed to Vendetta attack.
Yeah. There's no way. If he starts going for the juke to the side with the speed that you get on Enchantress, there's like no way you're going to be able to hit that properly. It would be a complete and utter fluke if you do. So I definitely appreciate that decision. And Baby Knight, yeah, he was sitting up here waiting for that tick over, and he is going to grab himself up the Blink on the Zeus. So understandable against the Slark, Batrider, and even the Invoker. He just needs to be in the proper positioning all the time. And if that means hanging on back until the fight's like a quarter of the way over, blinking in and then doing everything, I think that's okay.
It's interesting to get that over something more like an Ether Lens. Because that,
yeah.
obviously the Blink Dagger is going to give you a lot more maneuverability. But an Ether Lens on Zeus is like your bread and butter.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll move into that next, I hope. It just seems to be one of the heroes that it does synergize even the best with amongst everyone. And
I'm actually thinking now with... you might even want to hold on to the Arcane Boots and go into something like a Yule Scepter. Really difficult against the Batrider, for the Batrider to work with, as well as Tusker. Once it's snowballed in, you just Yule Scepter yourself away to safety.
General and Seneko were just doing something very sneaky over here. They were smoked up sitting right here, hoping that one of those supports was going to come and do the stack, or someone was going to come do the stack, because they waited right until that minute mark before they finally started advancing. Like, all right, no one's coming, because they couldn't find a creep around, so I think they were hoping that someone else was going to show up to do it.
Instead, LC, they're up on the top lane. Pushing into the tier 1 tower, you got an Invis Kefka moving with the blink forward, gets the double stun and the double mana burn.
Oh!
And now Jalopy, no, the snowball ends up protecting. They still need more damage. Meanwhile, up on the top lane, the battle's going up here with Solon. The swap out and then the TP. General's going to stop him from escaping. But it's down the bottom lane where they wanted Dendy and they're going to catch him.
That was close. They didn't have any detection, but they got it with the last Thunderbolt. So Dendy not able to sneak himself away.
This is still a 2-for-1 trade-off, and it will be a tier 1 tower for both sides. Baby Knight's jumping forward to try and creep skip it out.
Yeah, and Ditcherod did go for that Midas, but he's already up to 2k gold, so he's feeling okay about this. Even though it is about 17 minutes in, you feel like you don't offer all that much, but being able to just farm around the map, he's been doing a pretty good job, and now he can move into either that Shadow, probably the Shadow Blade if he wants some damage.
This tower push speed from Na'Vi is so slow. It's actually giving time for LC to rotate towards the mid. And one, kill off Seneko. He doesn't have Snowball. But LC can do considerable damage to this mid tower.
Yeah, their lineup's looking really great, and Jellybee's been hitting those. That Stormhammer was so nice on top of Dendy as well as the Tusk. I thought he was going to be able to, or well, it only hit Dendy, and I thought he was going to be able to clip the Tusk as well. Then it would have been an easy double kill, but the chase down still secured it. And again, just like Jellyby played such a good game on that Juggernaut, and with that Blink Dagger now, he's playing hard carry and initiator right now for their team. He's pretty much the forefront.
It's going to be easier once he's got that BKB done. There's that considerable damage I was talking about to the tower, just above deny range. The best time to pull back. They Thunder God's Wrath. It's to reveal the Bat Rider on the top. With the Death Ward, they're going to have more than enough damage to kill off General.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Kefka was up there with almost no mana entire duration. I think that's why they needed the Thunder God's Wrath, just to help finish him off. And at least the Shadow Blade will now be out here. So with the Shadow Blade, you can already see, obviously, Slark is going to provide one thing for your team. It's going to be the vision gain. It's something that we've talked about, Navi, in terms of how much they seem to put a lot of priority into it. And with the Bat Rider once more, Ditcheross should be able to help snipe out a lot of these wards as LC are starting to be more aggressive and more powerful. As you know, they're starting to come online. They're bringing down that net worth towards them. If they can actually get some aggressive wards in here, Ditcheross is going to be sniping them out and bringing them down. So it makes it a lot harder for them to actually snowball any sort of a lead that they get from like one team fight into those objectives without the actual vision around you to support it. Because one bad jump from Jellyby is just so bad. Initiating with your hard carry, if they lose him right away, like if he blinks in and gets lassoed or something, there's no way you win that fight.
General, say goodbye to yourself. They start with a mana burn. Just wanting to make sure he can't blink himself away. You've still got that Son of Marble. It's going to connect Baby Knight. Lets the ulti go, but Denny with a great deafening blast with the Meteorite. LC are just burning to death. Baby Knight, he tries to TP out, but the Tuskar shard's perfectly on position. Denny will take the double kill, and Snako is still looking for a little bit more. While his snowball's on cooldown, that's not going to work, but he could potentially shard in the Witch Doctor, and that's what he's playing for, but he can't really reach it. The Slark, however, okay, yeah, they're just going to go for this. The pounce forward with the snowball stomp, the paralyzing cask into the death ward. He actually gets the damage out. He'll end up killing off the Slark in the restoration. He's surviving. The Urn Charge is not enough damage. The Witch Doctor gets a revenge kill onto the Slark. Sunstrike. He actually doesn't get hit by the Sunstrike either. What a play. Now to the mid lane. Artstyle, watch this slow attack. Swap it back. Oh, there you go. Enchantress is down.
Oh, that dive, the cask shackle. We've all seen it before, where you just get a little bit too close to each other. Great death ward. And Denny came in just at the last moment. One of the casks, it did eventually bounce over to the creeps, but it was too late for Ditcherod. And again, great movement too as well by Biva, making his way to the high ground. You can see him juking the Sunstrike too, just making sure he wasn't being too predictable.
He knew he was being watched by the Forge Spirits.
Yeah, just following him around, slowly sneaking.
Pretty much. LC gets a little unlucky because Roshan hasn't spawned up just yet. He's, again, this long duration, almost maximum duration spawn time. So LC don't have that quick momentum going from one to the next. We are actually getting a Yule Scepter build on this Nyx Assassin, unless this is a casual Sage's Mask. So I'm still wondering if Dagon is his play here. The Enchantress only has 902 life. And they need some good, quick ways to kill her off. And yeah, Zeus helps with that. But you need to put her in the grave before she can start up her sprites. And Zeus can't do that by himself.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it is. It is a little bit unusual to go for the Yules. Like, yeah, you can set up into an Impale. It does help against the Bat Rider, but you're a Nyx Assassin, so generally you're relying on your Carapace for that. And, ooh, very aggressive smoke. But their courier's flying right over the ward. So you go for this whole smoke play in their jungle, and then you give yourself away completely by the courier. Just bringing in a couple wards. And now they know exactly where they are. You can see Snako perfectly circling them.
Yeah. He got the initial ping on that courier too. But they're making their way for him. So even though Navi knows where they're coming from, they're not in a great position. Like they're in a position where they can blow the smoke. And Slark realizes, okay, yeah, now he's going to Shadow Blade. He's got his gem up. So he understands when he's being watched. And LC won't find their opening. In fact, because they ran up all this way, now Navi have even more space. Then he goes back to farming up the bottom lane. Looks like he's getting closer to completing up, and in fact now has completed up that BKB of his.
Yeah, it's interesting that he went into that. Much more common to see the SNY these days, but when you're up against the Invoker, as well as even just the general control coming out from your Tusk and the Firefly damage too, it's understandable to go for the BKB, just trying to make sure that he can actually, there's no point having the damage and everything from an SNY if you can't actually right-click. So some games you do still have to go back for that BKB.
All right, so Roshan time. Who gets to come out on top? Saneko's going to walk himself in, just put down a nice
Radiant's top tower is
hillside
under
ward.
attack.
Already LC are looking for the ward vision of Na'Vi. They'll have to check the hillside anyway. Like, they just wave in, so they'll see that Roshan is there. Baby Knight, it's worth a bolt. Even though he doesn't have a lot of mana, and maybe that's another reason why he's holding back right now. Baby Knight's not really in a good position to fight this, because he's only got half of his mana.
And man, Dendy is just like terrifying right now too. Like if Jelly doesn't get on top of him, he's gonna be opening so much damage in these fights that BKB turned on. It's gonna be like he'll have to get basically swapped into Jelly for them to try and bring him down because Kefka, Baby Knight, Biva, they just don't offer anything right now up against Dendy. I suppose maybe the Death Ward.
Dire's
Again,
bottom
it's these
tower
tense
is
battles
under
around the Roshan pit, and with Batrider in your hands, there's just not like there's no Faceless Void this time here for LC. So this time they're gonna have to solely rely on the Death Ward, rely on the swap, and it's gonna be a lot harder for them to fight here. All provided by this vision of Ditchera. Like, it's unbelievable how much control they have.
I also found it amusing that like it's the perfect rune for a Zeus to get an illusion rune, so he can go out and scout what's going on, and then that rune then gets stolen by the Enchantress, revealing out more positions.
Yeah.
Actually triggering. That had to be a misclick. Gold Strength was just burned by Sven. It looked like he was trying to go for the kill onto the Slark, and one of the Gold Strength straight away, but now, okay, maybe not wasted. Taneko evaporates from the fight. Didira also being revealed out with that bolt. They're going to drag it back in again with a swap. Two heroes down very, very quickly. They can mop up these Forge Spirits of Dendy, and Roshan now belongs to LC.
Just one slight misstep though, and that's exactly what LC needed. They capitalized on it too. It wasn't exactly the easiest play to make to just like jump on Saneko. Pretty risky and not really having any sort of vision on the high ground, but Denny just not in the position.
He's got Meteorite and Deafening Blast with the PKB and 4-star. If he can get into position and then survive, but it's so risky without anyone else from his team. And Generals,
without a
Generals
blinker or
abandoned.
something.
This is LC's Roshan.
It's surprising how much vision Na'Vi still have, considering they're also up against the Zeus. Like Baby Knight not checking up on this high ground, considering he's already in the Roshan pit, not checking up over here by their own ward. He hasn't really been doing any sort of scouting, which is one of the bigger parts of even picking Zeus in your lineup. So something that I certainly would be like looking towards if I had a Zeus on my team, especially when I have this Slark who's running around deboarding everything I have. If you want to get back this vision game, like he should be checking this high ground as well. But Baby Knight not showing like any sort of initiative towards the actual deboarding.
It's funny too, because now, well, he didn't have the Bloodstone before. Now he does. He's got the mana for it all.
Yeah, that could be a decent reason as well. Like if you're looking to a fight, you don't want to be burning all your mana as well. But
Well,
Denny's gonna have a very good idea that he's all alone because of this up top.
wow, that was just perfect. Didira added enough pressure that the Nyx Assassin tried to dodge in a different direction, and then the Sunstrike hit perfectly. So the Nyx Assassin goes down. Didira tries to run away. He's going to get stunned up. There was no Dark Pact being triggered, so they just have to keep running around and swap back over. Now goes for his Shadow Dance. The Sentry Ward's been placed, but obviously they don't see that in the Death Ward. Dira's down far enough. They're using the Courier to scout him out. They almost lost that Courier, but Sven blinked himself forward. He's got enough damage to finish the job.
And well, top lane, that ward provided the vision knowing that he was totally alone, and so they're going to lose Baby Knight at the same time.
It's really bugging you, isn't it?
I mean, it's why you pick the hero, isn't it? I'm just saying. It's a pretty big part of the hero.
It is basically a free gem when you've got the mana to keep expending your bolt.
Either way, it will be that Yule Scepter, though. So, General's life gets even harder, and it's pretty good up against the Invoker, right? Because, yeah, you can use the Carapace to mess up his combo, but you're only going to be blocking one instance of damage, and if that instance is a single tick of the Meteor or, you know, the Deafening Blast, you're still going to go down, and Yule's will help them both get the stun as well as be survivable. So, it's a very interesting pickup. It's not something you'll see too often, but I think it's really good here. Oh, Dendy, he's going to leave Artsel all alone.
Oh,
Baby Knight here.
This should be easy bloody murder. Kefka's just going to attack him once, waiting for Baby Knight to arrive in, And there you go. Arstar will die. Arstar should... Yeah, he will die. He'll set to cancel off the TP. And then Zeus can go for a secondary set of nukes.
Alright, easy gaming. So now, what can they do? Like, they've had this Aegis for a while now. It's obviously been burned, right? Yeah, it is gone now.
Wow. Sorry. That's just really, really bad for them. Dira's going to die anyway. But Jalopi, he walked up to the top rune, and he was just about to pick up the double damage rune, and then it ticked over.
Oh, I hate when that happens. That's the worst.
It gave him the haste anyway, but...
Oh, this is nice. He's still going to have God Strength for this push, too. But this is what you need. Like, they haven't been able to actually get too many objectives since it felt like they were kind of on top, and now they're actually pushing in and starting to move in, so...
Daddy's moving
snag this
forward.
up.
They're going to try and have a crack at this as Kefka, a very aggressive blink forward.
I kind of like this Yules, because he can blink Yules, and as long as time isn't of the essence, it does allow a guaranteed stun, whereas a lot of the time, it can be so hard to hit that impale. It is... I think it's like at the point where it's too long. So when it actually comes out, it's so brutal compared to like Earth Spike. The duration is ridiculous. The air rather the
made it so it can't
wind up.
It can't be hero targeted. Like that's just like it's a proper skill shot now for the next assassin.
And he's on the prowl again. In terms of actual sentry vision, they don't have all that much. They did lose that gem, obviously, when Digirag got picked off on the bottom. So that's been helping out on the side of LC, being able to take some good control of the vision on their own side of the map. And still a couple remnants here for Na'Vi. Like, they still have this idea. They do see where Jalpi is moving, thanks to a couple wards that are still left up and open. And again, even without the gem, you can see Digirag, like, he's just saying, like, there's a ward here. There's a ward there. Like, I still know.
Just need to be able to get out there and do something about it.
Yeah. Baby Knight. Again, he's not going back for that Aether Lens.
He's going directly into Octarine. See that or he's considering an Aghanims build, but we're going very old school on a Zeus then if he's doing that.
Yeah, I would think it would be the Octarine. It is a little bit unusual, like, without the Aether Lens, too, but Octarine as well as the Blessed One is going to mean a lot of spamming. Clap, clap.
Hey, you hear friends is having a reunion? One of the greatest videos ever made. Not the Friends reunion video, the Zeus Friends, like, introduction video.
No.
Yes, it was amazing!
No, I don't think I know what it is.
Oh, you've never heard of it?
No? Zeus what?
Look up, it's Dota 2 all random. Oh, oh, whoops! Whoopsie, whoopsie!
Did he just get his TP cancelled?
No!
Oh no.
Kefka blinked him, he TP'd over to his base, blinked forward, was right in front of the Bat Rider, and he double tapped his Yule Scepter.
Ah, yes.
Instead of actually using the Bat Rider, so then he could follow up with the Spy Carapace into stun into potential kill. Is what ended up happening. So a bit of a whoopsie daisy.
Oh, Digirag is... maybe? Nah, he should be able to get out here.
He's a freaking Slark. Like, unless he gets stunned up by this Ven, he's not going to die. Like, it's pretty simple. It's pretty much that.
I like that he went back for the BKB as well. It's not exactly what you generally want. Like, kind of Slark's one of those heroes where you'd love to get it almost as late as possible, but there's a certain point that comes where if you're no longer just able to keep winning fights, you're not that snowballed hero anymore, you have to go back for it. And with only Shadowblade BKB, though, like, look at this. He's just like the Witch Doctor walk away. Like, that is not a Slark. That's not where you want your Slark to be, as he is now, of course, 4th in terms of the overall net worth. And Sven's still reigning in on top, still trying to keep these stacks going. Vengeful Spirit going to help him out here. And now we're back. We got that Death Ward again, and this time it's going to be with the Glimmer Cape.
I really don't know who can take this game at the moment. And you just look at the overall position. We're 32 minutes in. Each team has got a lot to work with. The Invoker's in a good position. The Slark's not in a bad position. Yeah, he's not getting snipe offs, but it's still not like a low momentum Slark. And you got an Enchantress with a frickin' Dragon Lance and Aghanim Scepter. So there's so much damage which can come out from Na'Vi. The Initiation is there from Na'Vi as well. And then you got LC with the same kind of thing. Phoenix Assassin, very successful with his movements for Initiation. Jalopi's in a great position with his BKB, AC, and Blink Dagger, so there's follow-up initiation from LC. Baby Knight's pumping out a large portion of damage, and soon to create even more, both sustain as well as having that lower cooldown through the Octarine. And the Witch Doctor's got a bloody Death Ward. The VS is kind of her thing, and the Taskar is kind of his thing. Like they just do it.
They save people. You know?
That's pretty much it. They're the sacrificial lambs in this game. But both teams, like, they're in a very similar position. Like, gold-wise, it's almost zero. It's the experience which is the only real advantage for LC. And I don't know if that's really, like, a huge thing for him. Like, having the level 3 on Witch Doctor's ultimate, yeah, that's definitely a big thing for him. But everything else is pretty equal. This game is still anyone's.
Yeah, and one thing that we haven't seen at all is really the impact of art style past the early game. Like, obviously, he had amazing impact in the laning stage. Like, he completely secured the bottom lane that would have been a total disaster if he didn't have someone like the Enchantress moving in. He had great rotations to the mid, the top lane as well. But ever since then, he's been basically just split pushing on the side. He got picked off by just the Nyx Assassin a couple times. Not really much you can do. But now with, like, Aghanim Scepter, Dragonlance, moving in towards a BKB, he's actually ready to fight and show off, like, the whole Enchantress that we know as being one of the more powerful heroes of this patch. Oh, nice. Burning that mana means no Shadow Dance, and Ditcheron just gets blown up by Jalopy.
That was perfect. That was absolutely beautiful from LC. And now they've got a window of opportunity. That's a tier 2 tower in mid guaranteed. The question is, can they force more out of Na'Vi?
General, once again, he has so much to try and fight up against. He's got the swap, he's got the Yule Scepter, even the cast, the Zeus, like providing the Thunder God's Wrath to even stop canceling the blinks, the static field. I don't even know how you get a lasso off this game until he has a BKB. The General has a very hard life.
I guess buyback time.
Or it's going to be here.
Is anyone going to come back to defend that bottom lane? Yeah, here they come. The Firefly has been practically expended, so the Nyx will show himself. General will have to wait another 22 seconds, but yeah, they don't force the issue. They're coming over for Roshan.
Yeah, smart move.
So Na'Vi saw that. Yeah, the Observer saw them go in. The Sunstrike will help the scout out. Now, what do they want to do? General's still looking for a kill on the bottom lane. His Firefly is 4 seconds off cooldown, and there goes your Yule Scepter. Defensive from the Nyx Assassin. Goes directly for the Spire Carapace, looking for the swap, but it comes just a little too early, actually dodging the stun. But you lose a Batrider, and Roshan is also taken. Yeah, it's nice
quick
position
fingers
for
on
LC.
Kefka. Yeah, that was great. Like, I think General understood that last game, yeah, that was sick, but there's no way I'm getting that again versus a Zeus and everything like that. Let's get this free pick off with the Sunstrike. But Kefka, too quick. Nice little Yules, and then General's just caught out, like, completely out with his pants down. Like, nothing you can do once you blinked into that moment.
So now Na'Vi are going to be on the defense, staring the barrel of a potential Raxing by LC. With an Aegis the Immortal, this Ven's going to have a license to kill. He did leave the Helm of the Dominator behind, so he's a little easier to kill at the moment. I say easier when he's still walking around with 46 armor.
Yeah, he is General, and that's... Jeez, that is actually terrifying. Once he pops that war cry, he is a man to be reckoned with here, and again, similar to art style, though, we also haven't seen that power of Dendi whatsoever, really. Like, we haven't had any team... When's the last time we had, like, an actual real team fight with, like, numerous people? Have we even had one? I don't even know we've had a 5-on-5 this game since that Roshan battle.
We haven't.
That's, like... That's it. So once Dendi actually gets into something like the Octarine core, we might actually see some of those big plays come out in terms of all the AoE that he can actually apply onto their team. Because, in the end, there is only one BKB, and it's on... the Sven.
Yeah, but this
terrifying.
This Sven's now got a Daedalus to his name, so if he's got God's Strength activated and his Warcry activated, he's doing so much damage, he's so damn tanky. Like, he's going to get to a point where he can potentially 2-hit down a Slark. That's not where you want to be as a Slark. Like, that's the reason why Didier is trying to finish up this Skadi of his. So at least he can have some more stats to help him survive. But LC's ready to come in. There's fortification available for Na'Vi, so they do have ways they can slow down the LC attack. As the Shards as well as Tornadoes taking out most of the life of the creep wave. And they're keeping Jalopy a little bit too far forward. Actually, a very, very early swap. They follow with the Sunstrike, and this Ven is not a healthy man. And the top lane's also being forced in too far from the Slark.
That push just got like completely eradicated with what, like 4 spells?
Yep.
And it just shows. And if Dendy even wants to, he could do something kind of like, if they feel way too pressured, clearly not too much yet, he can even just sell that Hand of Midas for an immediate gold infusion to get up to that next big item if he really needs it for the fight too. So Na'Vi, like as you mentioned, they had this big in terms of the net worth. It was pretty close after the pick off on the bat round. Unfortunately, it has now dropped down to 5K in terms of a lead for LC, but it's not that much at 38 minutes. It's not a big deal. The big difference is that level 16 up on the Witch Doctor and the fact that the Tusk, like he's still sitting. He actually does a max up on all the important spells anyway, so he's just fine. There's no big ultimate that they really needed on their team. It's basically like Biva versus General right now. That's kind of how I feel about this game. Like, imagine if General actually gets a lasso off on top of Jalopy before he gets the BKB off and he brings him over to Dendy.
That's
like that.
That's
can just be the game.
That's game winning right there. Especially if like Jalopy is just at the point where he's so overconfident that he just keeps buying up items instead of having his buyback available. That's when Na'Vi could do. Then again, no, they can't. They're crap at forcing buildings. Like unless Denny's considering picking up something like a Necro book. Like you're not getting the push out from the Slark. Like right
he
now,
kind of
he's
has
just
an interesting decision. He kind of has an interesting decision if he wants to go for, like you said, like the Necro book or the AC if he feels like they need that push, or does he just stick with going into the Octarine core or something like that and just be so worried about the team fights instead. But even with those items, like he still does provide quite a bit of damage, I suppose. But you're right, like Ditya Ra, not all that much.
He just doesn't have an impact yet. Like if he was getting pickoffs with the farm, then I'd be more for it. But it's when he has to stand toe to toe with what the Ven brings, he's nowhere near it, and that's the primary problem. But at least they're getting a lot off the map, Na'Vi. Like LC are moving from objective to objective. They want to remove this last outer tower now. Getting a lot of money into their accounts, but at the same time, Na'Vi being pretty efficient across the map. So both teams are getting a little bit out of what they want to. Kefka, is he going to go, yep, Spy Carapace, the lasso's still down there. Denny wants a quick kill, and they're not going to get it. Yule Scepter up, but Ditya Ra, he's now going to arrive. Nyx Assassin into the Vendetta. They don't see him. Invoker gets destroyed. This Ven arrived at the perfect time. The stun, okay, it's just a little short of the Slark. All right, this is mid push time. They don't have the creep wave, however. The bottom lane's pushing it a little bit too far, so LC might be a little concerned about that. But
this Yule Scepter has just been amazing for Kefka. It has kept him alive in so many scenarios just by allowing the rest of his team to rotate in, and the fact that they blew up Dendy, like that's going to help take care of that next big item. If he has a force of buyback here, which you think that they would, at least the Aegis did timeout, which is pretty huge. He'll just have the cheese to rely on.
May have to use it in a moment. Like Ardstar just did so much damage to him and held him out. They didn't even need any help from anybody else. Skadi is now done for the Slark. It's flying over to him. Honestly thought that with the death of Dendy, there could have been a lot more damage done by LC.
Yeah, they're just playing it so patient. You can see the damage they do put out. If they don't actually get a big initiation inside the base, how do you deal with art style? You don't have the ability of, like the last game we saw the Viper just sitting on the high ground doing his thing, and there wasn't that much that LC could do. It's like, oh, we can chrono him, we can maybe hit him with our OD, and despite that, like, yeah, OD had a Dragon Lance. Well, this is Enchantress with a Dragon Lance and an Aghanim Scepter. Your Sven can't just sit up here and hit buildings. Ditya Ra, he knows. Oh, maybe the creep wave. He might have been confused by that. He'll escape anyway.
He knew that Nyx Assassin was moving up because the Observer wasn't centering the lane. That was when Nyx went through there with Vendetta on. But Kefka really just wants that last little bit of gold. In 300 gold, he's got his Aghanims on the Nyx Assassin. And then we're basically Brood War.
Yeah, that's going to be the tool that actually gives you that opportunity for that deep range, right? Like, actually, every time that you see the impetus come out there from Artstyle, you can throw out that ridiculous Impale or Mana Burn and start burning him down from back there. So, let the Brood War begin.
Yep.
What an awesome Aghanims upgrade. That's probably the coolest one I would not have seen that coming in the slightest. It's got to be the most unique one in the game.
Well, you'd expect it to be some kind of copyright. It's literally Lurker.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's okay. We're fine. You know, they've been pretty chill about it so far. Yeah, we lost Wind Ranger, but what can you do?
Baby Note's really not holding back with these Thunder God's Wraths. Instantly wants to know where LC is at all times, while the farm on the rest of his team continues. Now, when
Yeah, it's nice with that Octarine.
Yeah, 67-second cooldown, that's fine. And there's the Nyx Assassin with the Aghanim Scepter. I like how they've also got this collection of gems.
Radiant's top tower is
So there's
under
been 4 gems purchased this game. 2 of them are currently sitting in the LC base. One's on General and the other's over on the Witch Doctor.
Oh man, yeah, that must have been Snako must have just purchased this one up too. So they keep the cooldown going as much as they can. Yeah, it was just purchased up for Na'Vi, because General had just purchased one a while ago as well, but obviously he lost that too in that this engagement. That's rough. It's again, it's how much vision and how much they put an emphasis on that, but it certainly comes at a cost when you purchase 4 of them at this point.
But what are you going to do? Like, you're still going up against a Zeus that can take out all of your wards.
Oh, it's okay. They bought 3. My mistake. Solon bought 1. Okay. Now, here's the first. This is the first aggressive movement as a team that we've seen from Na'Vi, I believe. We've seen this from LC a few times, but this is the first time I feel like I've seen Na'Vi actually grouped up together. And they're going to keep Sunstriking Roshan. It's that time, but it's late.
Looks like Ice Rock wants us to have some long games tonight. Another minute and a
25.
half until he's going to be up. And well, surprised Baby Nun hasn't triggered this ulti yet. He thought about it for a moment. He actually started the clapping. But he didn't release.
So we talked about what would happen if they were able to lasso Jellapi, right? You know, and how game-winning that is. How much Jellapi is like the complete and utter crux of this lineup, right? Well, Dendi has the solution. Like, go over that sheep stick. That is the perfect item. It's not the most common thing on Invokers anymore these days compared to, you know, your ACs, your Orchids, your everything else along those lines, but this is a really great game for a sheep stick. Just dealing with that one key target, even if it means dealing with someone who can help prevent the lasso, one extra disable is going to make all the difference for Na'Vi in both these high ground defenses as well as obviously any sort of a pick-off metric.
I hate to tell you though, like, there's now a Satanic done over on this event. So even if you do get the lasso with the Scythe of Vice, yes, you're going to have a little bit more time to attack into this event, but you kind of need the Slark to be more powerful than what he is in order to do that. Because when you got the Satanic up, all he's going to do is just, like, he'll get out of the Scythe of Vice, BKB, turn on Satanic, and then kill you. And while he does that, he goes back to 100% HP. This is the peril right now of Na'Vi, where they're going to need to throw in every bit of damage they've got. That Enchantress is going to have to be right on top, like right next to Dendi when that initiation happens. Or counter initiation happens, however it works.
Oh, it's sniped. The Sunstrike did spot it this time.
They've got to move quick. They're going to
Do they
move
have a smoke?
really, really quick. Like, you don't even need to trigger God Strength here. And look where Kefka goes. Burrows on the hillside, throws down the Observer Ward. Roshan's already dead. So now there's 2 cheeses on the side of LC. Actually, where'd the second cheese go?
Did he spend it? Or is it on the courier? Oh no, they're stacked. He has them stacked both on the Venge.
Okay. I'm just like, I know they had 2 cheeses. Middle lane,
They're just gonna
they're
have to,
having a
like,
run.
pass it
Wow,
off.
look at that swap range. A long jump back for Seneko. The paralyzing can't stop bouncing around, but the Vengeful Spirit,
the
there
cheese!
goes your first cheese. It's on cooldown, however, because it is stacked, but they still get the kill they were searching for. And that's the Tuskar down R-Style BKB. That is a long one. That was his 10-second BKB expended to ensure he could TP back to base. But they may have the space just because of the pressure from Diddy Ra on the top lane. And LC's already moved back for this.
General, he's sitting there, he's thinking about it, but Denny's a little bit too far away. They'd love to get a quick pick, knowing that it's going to be a lot harder on the high ground defense, but without that BKB for Digera, so he's already up here. He's going to try and pressure somebody back, but again, it's just a Slark. And, jeez. Oh, that was so comical. So it's going to be, they did burn, okay, yeah, so they did burn it. All right. No more. Oh, no, they didn't burn. Okay, yeah, we're good. Just 1 cheese, and then we get the other one. All right, and Baby Knight is just holding on to that little Aegis there. So, moving into that high ground. It's going to be a lot of pressure on Dendi in general. Like, Jeez, he hasn't even played Batrider this game, you know? He just moved around the map.
They still need the pick. DOTA is currently getting caught out. Sunstrike's there. They want to hold him in position, but then OP! The big double stun! The help arrived from the Thunder God. Throwing out that Wrath, and then all of a sudden, the Batrider as well as Slark down. Both have buybacks, but it's a 5-man group up in mid. General's already bought back. He doesn't have Firefly available, so there's not a lot he can really do to stall this up apart from throwing in a Flame Break.
Yeah, they can start a jewelry shop up in the Dire Fountain. They left a gem there. Like, the Batrider dropped one, and they just left it.
Oh, another quick jump.
Nice play.
That stun not going to connect. Now you see the power of art style. Look for that bonus damage, as this Sven does take a hell of a lot of it. And DOTA going to BKB. They try and go in for this one. The Death Ward, however, is going to spill out a lot of physical damage. But then the stun from Seneko cancels that one off. Are they going to get through the rest of it? Yep, they do. They actually get through this Sven. Then he keeps moving forward. The side of the fire's being used to keep the Zeus out of the play, so he can't just spam out whatever he's got. They've gone through 3 players here of LC. DOTA moving over. He's got so much essence shifted, and now he's going to use all of it to kill off Baby Knight. Unless they go for more. In fact, he leaves Baby Knight alone. They burn the Aegis of the Immortal. It's actually only 12 essence. I thought he had a lot more than that, but now Baby Knight, Thunder God's Wrath, the stun is there. Nyx Assassin trying to help out as much as he possibly can inside that Aghanim, except the Baby Knight just manning up. The snowball will protect him for a moment. Kefka, who's he want to go on? He mana burns over towards the Slark, blinks with a stun, and the Slark will go down. 105 seconds on the sideline. Dendy's down for 70, but he's got buyback available. And LC, just the standing combo of Kefka as well as Baby Knight. He managed to turn that fight around.
I mean, they just 2v5'd them.
Pretty much.
Essentially.
But at the same time, Na'Vi walked into a position where Kefka could have got himself a 4-man stun, so...
It's true. That's great. I can't believe we have a Zeus and a Nyx Assassin currently taking buildings. What is happening this game? And Jalopy, like, this was that whole threat we talked about, though, is that he blinked in for that initiation, he missed it, meaning the General got to live, and then he got punished hard. He didn't BKB during the EMP, and after that, like, what are you going to do in the fight? You don't have any mana. He was forced to just retreat.
Oh, nice swap. Arstar's going to use the BKB, but obviously, VS has killed himself by doing this. Arstyle, he doesn't have enough mana. He can't impede us anymore. And then Nyx Assassin, he hides in the Spire Carapace. Tusk ends up killing himself too. And that's an Enchantress buyback. The mid-ranks is down. There's still 5 seconds until Dendy is up. But LC will take out the mid-ranks. They've still got Satanic available as well as Godstring, so yep, they're not going to back out. Death Ward's back off cooldown. Now the Blink Lasso. General finds the opening, but the Paralyzing Cask is going to turn that around. Dendy into the BKB, but the Death Ward did everything. Dendy just, there's nothing he can do except die. The stun's available, the Thunderbolts will be thrown out. This is practically GG at this point. When you're losing 2 lanes of Raxus, they can't afford to lose Dendy, but he just bought back. The only thing which is going to save Na'Vi, their base, is the fact that tier 2 tower's still up on the top lane. But you could just go for the tier 4s. You could go for the GG push here.
I think you do. Oh, what a great Viva, just holding that BKB for so long, popping it at the perfect moment.
DOTA's gonna have another crack at this. Nice tornado with the EMP follow-up, burns off a decent amount of mana of this Van, but Zeus doesn't care. He's got so much to spare anyway. So the tier 4 towns are almost gone. Tusker up in 5. What do they got coming in the courier? It's just a Hyperstone for art style. And Dendy stunned up. That's it. That could be it. The snowball protection. No, Dendy's down. They've lost too much damage. The Tusker won't be able to retreat out properly. They've lost too many heroes. The fortress is gone, and GG LC will be now the team to be undefeated in the DotaPit. The second